So you've had the iconic lemon loaf from Starbucks and now you want to make it at home. Well, I've tried so many copycat recipes for this, but none of them were as lemony and soft and velvety as this recipe. The texture of this cake turns out exactly like the one from Starbucks. Better yet, everything for the batter gets mixed in one bowl and it's a really easy recipe. So sit back, grab yourself a coffee, and let's learn how to make the Starbucks lemon loaf copycat. Before we begin, please have all your ingredients at room temperature and preheat your oven to 350 Fahrenheit. I'm going to start with 1 cup of sugar, and into that I'm going to zest 3 whole lemons. And I'm just using the fine side of a box grater. So once you get all that in there, just give it a really good mix. You really want to stir it around quite a bit. The sugar is going to start pulling all the oils out of that lemon zest, and that's going to make our lemon loaf really flavorful. You can even kind of see here that it's starting to look like wet sand. Okay, now I'm going to add 1.5 cups of flour, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, half a teaspoon of baking soda, and half a teaspoon of salt. I'm going to mix that all together just until it's really well combined. Now right here I have 85 grams or 6 tablespoons of really soft butter. And I cut it into pieces and I'm just going to stick my finger in it so you can see how soft it is. I'm going to add that in along with 1/4 cup of vegetable oil or any neutral flavor oil of your choice. I'm going to use an electric mixer to beat this. I'm mixing it at low speed and you just want to keep doing this until it's all kind of sandy looking. If you have to get in there and break a few little bits of butter with your fingers, go ahead and do that. You want this to be pretty even in texture. Alright, after about a minute or 2 of beating, now you add 2 eggs. I'm just going to give it a little quick mix before adding the second one. Go ahead and add the second egg. Just going to beat it a tiny bit to get it started. Now I'm going to add half a cup of sour cream, and that's going to react really nicely with the baking soda. Right here I have the juice of 2 of those 3 lemons, and about a teaspoon of vanilla. The order of those ingredients really doesn't matter after the eggs are added, and you want to mix this on low speed for about a minute till it's really nice and smooth. Every now and then you're going to probably want to give the sides of the bowl a little scrape, just so everything gets added in. Give it one quick little mix. Alright, beautiful. Now you'll want to spread this into your greased and parchment lined loaf pan. This one here is 9 by 5 inches. We want to get every little bit of that in there. Now you want to spread this so it's nice and even. And one little secret I have for getting a really soft cake, let it sit in the pan for 20 minutes before you bake it. That'll give the flour a chance to absorb some of that liquid, and that will give us a really soft and fluffy cake. That is a totally optional step, however. I am going to do it with this because I always do that. Then you want to bake it in your preheated oven for 45 to 50 minutes or until it's nice and golden on the top and the middle should spring back when you press really lightly on it. You can also do the trusting skewer test. Just poke it with a skewer or a toothpick, and if it comes out clean, it's ready. This one took exactly 48 minutes. You're going to want to let it cool for about 10 minutes in the pan before trying to take it out, maybe even 15 minutes. I always like to loosen the 2 ends with a knife. Then you can just use the parchment paper to lift it out. So we're just going to let this cool completely before icing it. Actually, you can ice it while it's still a little bit warm. It depends on the look you're going for. But you can already see how moist this is. For the glaze, I'm going to start with 1 cup of powdered sugar. I'm going to add 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And right here I have the juice of half of the lemon that we did not add into the loaf. It's probably about a tablespoon or 2. I'm only going to start with half of it for now. I want this glaze to be a little on the thicker side, so start really slow with your lemon juice. I can right away tell I'm gonna need a little more. Might end up needing all of it, but I want this to be almost spreading consistency. I'm gonna add the rest of that. Now this is a little bit thinner than spreading consistency. This is practically pourable. You might want your glaze this thin, but I'm gonna add, say, another tablespoon or so of powdered sugar, just to make it slightly thicker. You wanna beat it really well so that there are no lumps. And now that's the consistency I was really going for. Now I'm gonna kind of dollop it here and there on top. This helps spreading it out a lot easier. And if your cake is still a little warm, this might be a little more melty, which isn't a bad thing at all. If you want to, you can let it drip down the sides. That'll look really nice. And there we have it. You don't have to do anything fancy, just as long as that icing is on top of the cake. With a little bit of time, that glaze is going to set up and it'll be really easy to cut. That usually takes about an hour, so here we are and we're ready to cut into it. I think you can tell how moist this cake is just by watching that first sliver being shaved off. Just look at how beautifully close textured the crumb of this cake is. That's all thanks to the reverse creaming method we used. You see, when you beat the butter into the flour mixture, each grain of flour gets coated with that butter, and that inhibits the formation of gluten. That's going to give you a soft, tender, and velvety texture that will melt in your mouth. I use the reverse creaming method for some of my other cake recipes, and it's my favorite one of all. I do like the traditional creaming method also, but it just doesn't deliver the same texture. Well, I think it's time for a cup of coffee. It's not from Starbucks, but I just love my Turkish coffee. You're also gonna love how lemony this loaf turns out. So many other recipes called for only 2 lemons worth of zest, but that extra one is really worth it. And this glaze on top is absolutely perfect. It's sweet, yet it's really nice and bright with that lemon flavor. The cake itself isn't overly sweet, so the glaze plays a perfect part. I hope you guys will give this one a try, and if you do, let me know in the comments how it turned out for you, because you know I always love hearing from you.